Are you in a need for a big, hulking crocodile? Well, so am I. But is this one any good? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're gonna take a look at Maestro Union Furay Planet Crocker Wilderness Hunter that is no way a take on Leatherhead from TMNT. He only looks like that, okay? But I have to say a huge thank you to the guys from Bombusby store for sending this figure for a review. If you want to get this Crocker or any other official and third-party action figure, check out Bombusby store because they have a great catalog of action figures. Give them a try and see for yourself. Link is in the video description. First, a quick look at the packaging. This box is heavy. There is a lot of plastic inside. On the front we have a big window showing the figure and some of the accessories. Here is a nice illustration of the character, age 16+. On the side the window continues and we have this Furay Planet logo. Back of the box shows that we can transform this guy into two styles. So we can basically get either a Leatherhead from TMNT or a Killer Croc to fight our Batman. One is called Prison Breaker and the other one Hunter. And here we see all included accessories and photos of the head moving left to right with a text saying replace. I don't know what's that about, but we'll find out soon. Here it also says comic book included. That's insane, I have to take a look at that. Other side shows the figure with chains, but I don't think that the chains are included in this set. Top of the box has the Furay Planet logo, bottom of the box shows some warnings and basic information about the company. They even gave the credit to the people who worked on this figure. Sculpting and paint, Pinocchio Dad, okay. Comic book cover illustration, Benjamin Kerr. Comic book, Jin Bin. And story and packaging, Marcus Cheng. Okay, enough of that. Now, let's open up the box and let's take a look at the figure. Yep, comic book is here. We'll take a look at that. Here is the figure out of the box and oh my god, just look at how good it looks. It's a big hulking monster crocodile with a fantastic sculpt work and paint job all over it. Just look at the scales of the crocodile's skin and darker paint inside of the lines that make everything even more realistic looking. The texture is amazing and I'm still shocked how huge and bulky this figure is. I can imagine how blown my mind would be if I had something like this back when I was a kid. I love the aesthetic of this figure. The design is fantastic. Crocker is around 20 centimeters tall. The tail was packed as a separate piece, so I had to connect it to the figure. And now I understand that image from the back of the box showing the head moving left to right. For some reason they've sculpted three different neck pieces. One for when the head is looking straight, and then two alternate necks for looking left and right. I don't know why they didn't just make the neck move instead. Maybe that was not easy to do with this design. And straight from the packaging he actually had this piece on where the head is tilted looking to his right. I swapped that because I wanted him in a neutral pose like this, looking straight at us. Taking a closer look at the details, here is how the head looks. And isn't this fantastic? The eyes and the teeth and the mouth, his jaw can open like this, revealing even more nice sculpt work on the inside. I love how the paint fades from a darker green at the top to a lighter green and then transitions to dark orange and pale yellow. And the same is applied across the rest of the body. Look at the arms with these spikes and then the hands with painted fingernails and then the torso part that is again lighter in front and darker on the back. And this jacket is removable as we saw on the box, and to do that you simply need to position his arms back like this and then the jacket simply slides off like that. So here is now a better look at his back. They did a fantastic job. And the jacket is also nicely sculpted with all the wrinkles and stitches, the buttons on the pockets, and then the wash over everything, giving it more life. It looks so good. It's of course torn on the sleeves and here on the back because of how huge this guy is. And then here is his belt with a damaged buckle and it goes around the whole waist. And look how good the jeans look. They have this lined and dotted texture, and the lighter wash brings out the details of the sculpt. Of course, the jeans are also torn here on the knees and here in the back where his tail pokes out. And then here is a closer look at his legs and feet with black claws and even more of these smaller scales on the skin. And finally, here is a look at the bottom of his feet. They are also beautifully sculpted, and we even see the hinges for the articulation. All in all, the look of this figure is very impressive. It is one of those figures that has a strong shelf presence, not just because it's big, but because of the beautiful sculpt work and paint. The attention to details is amazing on this guy. Let's now take a look at his articulation. The head is on a rod with two ball joints, but it doesn't give you as much of the movement as you would probably want. You can swivel the head all around, that's good. This is how far he can look up, and then this is how far he can look down, although this is looking straight, not down, so that's a shame. I don't know, I'm sure that this could have been designed a bit better. Maybe they gave him another cut here. In that case, he would probably be able to look a bit more down. And then, of course, as I already talked about it, for him to look left and right, you need to swap the neck piece with the alternate versions. This guy unfortunately doesn't have a butterfly joint, but arms rotate 360. This is how far they go out, but you can cheat it by turning the shoulder upside down, and then you will get a better range. He has a bicep swivel and another swivel in the elbow. Elbow is on a single joint, so it gives you a 90-degree bend. We have a swivel in the wrist, and here is the wrist peg that does not have a hinge. It's a simple ball peg, but you will get a slight movement in the wrist in all directions. We have 2 points of articulation in the torso. The upper one that kind of doesn't want to move. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's stuck on my copy. But then we have the lower one that does move side to side a bit better. There is a slight side to side tilt. He bends forward only slightly and slightly bends back. There is no drop down in the hips, and also there is no cut here, but he still has a slight thigh swivel. Legs move out only this much. This is how far they move forwards and back. There is a swivel in the knee, single bend in the knee that gives you this much. There is no swivel in the ankles. There's no ankles, but you get a swivel in the knees, so that's enough. And in the feet we have a hinge, so the feet move forward this much and back this much. And then there is a slight ankle pivot. The tail at its point of connection has the same joint that we saw in the wrists and in the neck, so you won't be able to move the tail side to side, which is unfortunate, at least not at this point, but you will get a swivel. And then we have 3 more cuts here, so each of those gives you a little bit of swivel and a little bit of side to side movement, and then you get the same thing here and here, although the tip of the tail has the most range of movement, so that's good. But overall, I mean, it's a big monster looking character that is pretty heavy, and so he has to be sturdy, he has to have strong feet, strong balance, so that he doesn't fall off the shelf, of course. Yeah, I mean, the articulation is good enough, that's what I would say. It could be better, especially in the neck. If anything, I would like to see a bit more range out of that. Let's now take a look at his accessories. First, he comes with this instruction piece of paper showing you how to pull off the jacket and how to use some of the other accessories that we'll see in a moment. Then he comes with a nice mini poster showing 2 of their characters, and then the comic book. The back, it says July 1st, and the actual price of the comic book is €2.40, and in the US this is $2.50. I don't know if this is something that is really sold in stores, but it's great that we are getting something like this. The comic is nothing spectacular, but I do like the style of the artwork. It also gives you a backstory or like an origin story of the character. It is in Chinese though, so you will need to use Google Translate if you don't know the language, of course. It's a nice and quick read. This is a spoiler for the comic, so skip this part if you don't want to know anything about the story. But the story of him being a cop that lost his family and then he is on a revenge mission, it really reminds me on all the generic action movies from the 90s, you know. It's still great that the comic is included here. And here we also see some concepts for some of their figures, and here the artwork, illustration, all of it inspired by these characters or by this character that is not related to TMNT property. And then here is the last page with few more characters, and it says coming soon, so we'll see see what will they bring us in the future, but that's the comic. Getting back to the actual accessories for the figure, we get the two alternate neck piece that I already talked about, so you will need both of these for him to look left and right. We get a total of 3 pairs of hands. A pair of gripping or trigger finger hands are already on the figure. Then we get a pair of open hands and a pair of pointing hands. And all of these look fantastic. He gets a pair of cuffs that should go around his wrists, and these are actually a real metallic chains. Well, not these pieces, these are plastic, but the chains are metallic. They can be connected, looped together. They do connect, and then they loop here to this piece. This is a sheath for his sword, and this has a peg. There is a peg hole where you can actually peg this in, and it has to be turned like this. But again, it has this loop here where the chain can connect. He also comes with this pouch or holster that has real straps here, so the two sides can be connected. We loop this one through here. So yeah, he also comes with his hat. This is interesting. Is this a magnet? This curved side is the front. Yeah, this is a magnet. The magnet is strong enough, it holds, and of course this goes around the head so we can tie it down here. He also comes with 2 weapons, a huge knife, and the sculpt is great. Brown handle, the silver blade with a little bit of rust here inside. That's a nice attention to detail. This is how that goes. It stays, it fits perfectly. And then he gets his huge gun, the metallic silver paint here with a little bit of weathering, giving it again that rusty look. You can see that even here they gave it a wash so that it doesn't look plain and plasticky, and the gun should fit in here like that. Perfect. And this should actually go onto his back like this. That is a nice look. And he can also hold the gun and the knife without any issues. And then for putting the chains onto his wrists, you need to remove the hand and put this piece on, and then put back the hand like this. And there you go. So here he is with practically all of his included accessories, minus, you know, the neck pieces and the hands. But this is how he looks when everything is on him. This is our semi-realistic take on a leather head. Let's now compare this guy to some other figures. First off, here is how he scales with NECA TMNT cartoon Raphael and movie Raphael. And you can see that he towers over both of these guys, but I still think that he can go great, especially with the movie figures. Here is how he scales with YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series Optimus Prime and Masters of the Universe Revelation He-Man. Here we have him next to Savage Crucible Veteris Repax and NECA Feral Predator. And then to compare him with some 1/12 figures, here is how he scales with the original Mayfax Classic Suit Spider-Man and Daredevil. Here he is next to Marvel Legends Symbiote Spidey and X-Men 97 Wolverine. Then we have him next to the SH Figuarts Toby Spider-Man and Sentinel Peter B. Parker. Here he is with City Toys Brown Suit Wolverine and The Amazing Spider-Man. Here is how he scales with City Toys knockoff of Revoltech Agent Venom and an AliExpress knockoff of Revoltech 2.0 Deadpool. Here is how he scales with Mayfax Hush Batman and Dark Knight Returns. And here he is next to the InArt Dark Knight Returns Batman and original Revoltech Arkham Batman. And finally, here he is next to the Black Series Darth Vader and Stormtrooper. So there you go. That was my review of Maestro Union Furay Planet Crocker Wilderness Hunter, a huge monster-looking anthropomorphic crocodile action figure. This is a fantastic piece to have in your collection. He can go great with your TMNT figures, with your DC figures. I mean, you can practically fit him into any franchise you want. He will stand out on the shelf. He certainly draws the attention, and he should. He's big and he looks amazing, so a huge shout out to the guys who worked on this design. They did a phenomenal job. I love the included accessories, and let's not forget the fact that a comic is also included here. This is a strong recommendation on my part. And where to get him? Of course, Bombus B Store. Big thank you again to them for sending this figure for a review. Link for this figure and for Bombus B Store are in the video description, so check it out. That's it from me, and now I would love to hear you guys. What do you think about this figure? Do you like what you see? Do you plan on getting one for your collection? Let me know all of it down in the comments. As always, a huge thank you to my Patreon and channel members for their support. If you can also join and help, please do so. Links are in the video description. And of course, to all of you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see ya in the next video.